Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Programele noastre oferă multe limbi. Vă puteți uita pe suprememastertv.com/schedule.
The glaciers have carved enormous U-shaped valleys and gigantic granite snow-covered peaks that create the gorgeous backdrop to this wilderness monument. Glacier National Park, the crown of the continent, part 1 of 2. Continue watching to find out more.
Vegan, a larger viewpoint. Okiniksukua. That's how the indigenous people of the Blackfeet Nation say, "Hello, my friend," in their native Blackfoot language. Kind viewers, I am Steve. The gentle Blackfeet people invite you to pray for the whole of humanity to remember their true celestial nature. Welcome to part 1 of a 2-part series entitled Glacier National Park, the Crown of the Continent.
Give a month at least to this precious reserve. The time will not be taken from the sum of your life. Instead of shortening, it will indefinitely lengthen it and make you truly immortal. Nevermore will time seem short or long, and cares will never again fall heavily on you, but gently and kindly as gifts from heaven. John Muir.
Often referred to as the Crown of the Continent, Glacier National Park, one of America's original 10 national parks, is located in the northern Rocky Mountains in northwestern Montana on the Canadian-United States border. This scenic paradise holds tremendous significance in symbolizing the unity and deep-rooted friendship between the two countries. In 1932, Glacier National Park joined Waterton Lakes National Park in Alberta, Canada, to form the world's first international peace park known as Waterton Glacier International Peace Park. In 1976, Glacier National Park was designated an International Biosphere Reserve by the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO. The International Peace Park became a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1995. Glacier National Park sits on the Continental Divide, the most prominent hydrological divide of the United States that follows the ridge of the Rocky Mountains and shapes the boundary for the drainage systems moving westward to the Pacific Ocean and eastward to Hudson Bay and the Mississippi River. The much-loved park received its name for the numerous glaciers and glacial activity that have formed the property's rugged terrain since the Ice Age over 2 million years ago. The glaciers have carved enormous U-shaped valleys and gigantic granite snow-covered peaks that create the gorgeous backdrop to this wilderness monument. Covering approximately 1,583 square miles or 4,101 square kilometers and 1 million acres of land, Glacier National Park extends across 2 mountain ranges and includes gushing waterfalls, more than 700 lakes, extensive hiking trails, and pristine ecosystems with various prairies, forests, and alpine features. Glacier National Park offers visitors historical richness, geological and glacial uniqueness, picturesque landscapes, abundant flora and diverse fauna, and various activities for adventurers. Unfortunately, like so many miracles of great Mother Nature, this beloved park has not been immune to the devastating consequences of climate change. Archaeological evidence indicates that indigenous First Nations were the first inhabitants in this glacial area and arrived about 10,000 years ago. The nomadic Blackfeet people once resided on the eastern slopes that now lie within the park and on the Great Plains that are situated to the immediate east. The Blackfeet Nation is part of the Blackfoot Confederacy that consists of the Pagan, the Kaina, and the Siksika, meaning black-footed people. Their land now borders Glacier National Park in the east. The Flathead Nation occupied the western region and now reside on the Flathead Indian Reservation west and south of Glacier National Park. The First Nation people hold a deep spiritual respect for nature and the life-sustaining natural environment they live in. You can visit these First Nations of Western Montana, explore the region on guided tours, and experience their culture, traditions, arts, and crafts firsthand. Major annual events include customary gatherings or powwows and festivals. For over 100 years, the Flathead Nation has celebrated American Indian traditions on the 4th of July. The Standing Arrow Powwow and the Blackfeet Nation North American Indians Days are also held that month. Together, the people joyously parade and dance to the rhythm of the drums. The age-old Heart Butte celebration follows in August. Multiple explorations after 1850 created a better understanding of the area that would become Glacier National Park. In 1885, naturalist and conservationist Dr. George Bird Grinnell went on an expedition to the region with noted explorer James Willard Schultz. Enamored by the area's spectacular scenery, Dr. Grinnell described the park's exceptional features in the Century magazine in 1901.
Far away in Montana, hidden from view by clustering mountain peaks, lies an unmapped northwestern corner, the crown of the continent. The water from the crusted snowdrift, which caps the peak of a lofty mountain there, trickles into tiny rills, which hurry along north, south, east, and west, and growing to rivers, at last pour their currents into 3 seas. From this mountain peak, the Pacific and the Arctic Oceans and the Gulf of Mexico receive each its tribute. Here is a land of striking scenery.
Dr. Grinnell dedicated the next 20 years of his life to protecting the land and having it recognized as a national park. He played an instrumental role in its establishment. In the 1800s and early 1900s, new settlers traveled westward with the railroad, hoping to earn a living. The Great Northern Railway ran along the Glacier National Park's southern border. To encourage customers to use the railroad, the company promoted the natural beauty of the area to the public. With Great Northern's lobbying efforts to the United States Congress, the park became a forest preserve in 1897. Mining, however, was still allowed in the area. Dr. Grinnell, a primary proponent of preserving the original aesthetics and integrity of the land, amplified his conservation efforts with other supporters. Their endeavors finally bore fruit in 1910 when His Excellency President William Howard Taft signed a bill into law designating the destination as a national park. The distinctive geological features at Glacier National Park add to its character and splendor. Most of the rocks in the park are mainly sedimentary rocks from the Precambrian age, the earliest portion of Earth's history with recorded geological records. These rocks settled in shallow seas more than 1.6 billion to 800 million years ago. When the Rocky Mountains formed around 170 million years ago, an area of rocks called the Lewis Overthrust pushed 50 miles or 80 kilometers eastward. Since the overthrust was hundreds of miles or kilometers long and several miles thick, older rocks began replacing newer ones. Currently, the Proterozoic rocks on top are approximately 1.4 to 1.5 billion years older than the Cretaceous age rocks underneath. Glacier National Park consists of the world's finest preserved sedimentary rocks of the Proterozoic age. The majestic mountain scenery serves as a recognizable landmark for the reserve and has been greatly shaped by the overthrust. Chief Mountain, a secluded summit located at the park's eastern boundary, rises 9,085 feet or 2,769 meters above the Great Plains. There are 6 mountains there that sit over 10,000 feet or 3,000 meters in elevation. At 10,466 feet or 3,190 meters, Mount Cleveland is the tallest amongst them. Triple Divide Peak is another significant feature at the site. It is considered the hydrological apex of the North American continent. Water from this peak flows into the Pacific, Arctic, and Atlantic Oceans. Perhaps the most distinguishable and iconic feature at Glacier National Park are the glaciers themselves and the formations they have left behind. The glaciers of long ago have shaped the rough landscape of this exquisite wilderness, sculpting mountains, valleys, and lakes. The Garden Wall is a steep 14.5-mile or 23-kilometer alpine trail within the park that is blanketed with lovely wildflowers during the summer. This scenic route is a splendid example of a mountain ridge formed by the erosion of glaciers on both sides, called an arete. Another commonly observed attribute is the amphitheater-like depressions with precipitous walls that have been created by smaller glaciers eroding the mountains and valleys at higher elevations. These basins are known as cirques. Enthralling waterfalls cascade from hanging valleys that have undergone glacial erosion, such as Florence Falls, where the water cascades over stone ridges. St. Mary's Falls and Virginia Falls are a popular and scenic 50-foot waterfall in the park, and with the spring melt, the 2-tiered Appoquinee Falls also provide an impressive view. The first tier from the top of the cliff is a free fall, which transforms into a cascading fall for the second tier. With awe for the exceptional splendor of Glacier National Park, we thank God for the nurturing natural beauty that surrounds us. For more information on Glacier National Park, please visit nps.gov/GLAC. I became a vegetarian after realizing that animals feel afraid, cold, hungry, and unhappy like we do. Cesar Chavez, vegetarian. It's been a pleasure to have you, noble viewers, with us today. Join us again on Tuesday, November 2nd for part 2 of Glacier National Park, the Crown of the Continent. Coming up next is The Animal's Joyful Tribute to Supreme Master Ching Hai Day, part 2 of 2, here on Supreme Master Television. May heaven's blessings be upon you, and may peace be within your heart.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/NB.